What's up everybody, my name is Paradox and welcome back to my channel. So before we get into the video, I do have a bit of an announcement. I am back from my very extended break from recording. So next week I will be resuming my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. So be sure to look out for that. And with that being said, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get right into the video. Okay, to begin, I would like to discuss the female we see on the Warmind DLC cover. So, a lot of people are saying this is Bray. I don't really think this is true, and I have some things that could back up my claim. As you can see on the cover, if you zoom in on her armor, you can see that there's actually a golden wolf symbol on the side of her armor. And I think this is kind of correlated to her being this lost female Iron Lord we see at the beginning of the Iron Lord trailer, shutting the door on Lord Saladin, is because the wolf has actually been associated strongly in the Destiny franchise with the Iron Lords, and that's kind of interesting to think of because they only found her in helmet. We didn't really get any backstory behind this character, and when we usually don't get a backstory behind the character, we usually see them return in later DLCs or later micro expansions or just later games in the franchise. The answer to this question is yes. I do think S.I.V.A. is going to be the primary antagonist of this DLC, and for a few reasons actually. First off, both the Warminds and S.I.V.A. were made by the Bray Corporation, and if you guys don't pay attention to the lore, they were the revolutionaries and the inventors and the pioneers of the tech of the Golden Age. So that's one reason. My next reason is actually tying back to the original Destiny storyline for S.I.V.A. back in Destiny 1 with Iron Lords. From what we know, our task during that DLC was to stop the S.I.V.A. production on Earth because it was coming back and it was threatening everybody, and we needed to figure out what happened to the last of the Iron Lords, and we did this, but there was little backstory behind S.I.V.A. at the time, and we didn't really get to see much of the threat with S.I.V.A. that comes with S.I.V.A. because the way Destiny marketed it as, and the way it is in the lore, is S.I.V.A., like the Vex, Cabal, and every other enemy, threatens humanity, and is a very big and powerful threat, so we didn't really get to see much relevance of it in the actual Rise of Iron campaign missions. It was really more about, well, what happens to the Iron Lords, who they were, what they did to save humanity, all of that, and it was little relevance to S.I.V.A. compared to that. So my final piece of evidence actually ties back into what I said about Bray inventing the Warminds and S.I.V.A. The Exos were actually invented by him too. So basically what all this is, and what I think it is, the Exos were the ground troops, the Warminds were the tacticians and the defense network, and S.I.V.A. was the construction units for the weapons for the army, and they were also in charge of taking over enemy weapons, installations, and turning in against them. So really, when you put all this together, it's just one giant military made by the Bray Corporation. And what kind of backs this a bit, for all of you who do pay attention to the lore community, we do know some Exos are linked up to the Warminds, and some even believe that Cade 6 is Rasputin in the Destiny universe. And a little bit of extra backing to my theory as to why these triangle ships are kind of S.I.V.A. construction facilities or military installations, is because if we take a look at the story of Rasputin, it says that Rasputin actually warns humanity of the coming darkness. Now, we can kind of see some evidence here when we look at the Cosmodrome, because we know that the Cosmodrome launched some colony ships, and even with the technology presented by the Traveler during the Golden Age, it must have taken weeks to build cryopods, AIs, defense systems, rations, basically everything you needed to make sure that a colony ship got from Star System A to Star System B. So that's kind of interesting because that means that they had a few months to maybe a year or a few years in advance to prepare for the coming darkness. And that being said, I think these triangle ships could be what warned humanity of the darkness. Because if you think about it, if you want to stop a threat from reaching your solar system that threatens humanity's sole survival, you're not going to wait for it to come to the solar system. You're going to have some kind of facility that's armed with the military outside your solar system to kind of either warn them and kind of stall it, or at least speed it back for a little bit. So that's why I think that S.I.V.A. is returning in this next DLC, and why those facilities could actually be S.I.V.A. facilities. So the next thing I want to talk about is actually what we should be seeing in this next DLC. Personally, what I think we're going to be seeing is some very S.I.V.A. related weapons, because if you want to think about it, if my theory is correct and that woman did survive, that means she could have learned how to control S.I.V.A. and could have actually implemented it into some weapons and some armor and things like that. And as far as locations are concerned, I think we could actually be venturing out to the old Cosmodrome, so that may come back, and at the same time, we could venture out to locations like the outside of the wall to kind of prevent the S.I.V.A. from attacking. And this might be interesting for some of you guys if, again, you pay attention to the lore. I think there may be a location somewhere along the Twilight Gap where a big S.I.V.A. battle will take place with several kind of micro missions, because we've kind of seen these chapters go by with like 3 or 4 missions in them during the main campaign before some of the Osiris came out. So that's just some speculation in terms of location and type of weapons we might see. So the last thing I want to talk about today is what our Guardians might gain from this experience and how that could bleed into Destiny 3. So as we know, they did remove the darkness from Destiny 2, kind of reintroduce it later in Destiny 3, because Bungie didn't feel like they did a good job of introducing what the concept of the darkness is. So in the end, we will defeat Rasputin, S.I.V.A., maybe the Exos, and during the ending cutscene, and this is going to be actually very specific, so just bear with me, Rasputin could warn us as the systems are failing. He could warn us, I tried sparing humanity, I did my best to save you guys, there's going to be a darkness coming, and you guys will not survive. You kind of just end right there. And how I think it's going to bleed into Destiny 3 is we might actually kind of rise up and realize after the events of Destiny 2 that all this time we were trying to wake the Traveler so it could fight for us. We should have been preparing ourselves for the fight against the darkness. So the citizens and whoever's in the Destiny world and in the last cities will start to realize that they need to stop being so reliant on the Guardians and look at Hawthorne and what she's accomplished, helping the Guardians. So they're going to stop being so reliant and go out themselves to fight back, and in turn the Guardians are going to realize that the humans of the last city aren't as weak as they thought they were, and by banding together with the Traveler, the Guardians, and humanity on one side, they do stand a chance of being back to darkness. And that's the lesson Rasputin could leave to our Guardians, kind of bleed into Destiny 3, so I think that's just a really good way of wrapping up Destiny 2 and kind of lead into Destiny 3, where we get an introduction to the darkness again, and we see it for what it really is, and come together and fight against it. So before I go, I would like to inform you guys of an upcoming series of mine called Challenger. I will be releasing a video on that soon. I don't want to give too much away. I kind of want it to be a surprise, so be sure to tune into my channel to be the first to know when episode 1 releases. But on top of that, I would like to say that this is all just speculation on my end. I don't have any sources for this. It's just personal stuff that I personally think could happen, and some things I've noticed in the lore while I was studying for this video. And I want you guys to actually comment down below where you guys think I'm right, where you guys think I'm wrong, what you guys personally think could happen, what you guys want to happen, and just things like that. And with that being said, be sure to, again, like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys in the next video.